Hello everyone. Now we are going to discuss about the hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis is composed of two words, hemat plus poiesis. Poiesis is synthesis of something and hemat is stand for blood. So hematopoiesis is the process of blood cell production, blood cell maturation and development from the hematopoietic stem cell in bone marrow. So hematopoiesis is the process of blood cell production, maturation, development from the hematopoietic stem cell. So this is the a brief flow chart of development of various blood cells from the hematopoietic stem cells. So hematopoietic stem cell first convert into the common lymphoid progenitor and common myeloid progenitor. Common myeloid progenitor then converted into the erythroblast and finally form RBC. Common myeloid progenitor through the thrombopoiesis develops into platelet and common myeloid progenitor via granulopoiesis develops into neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil and monocytes. Colony forming factor E and erythropoietin, they stimulate the development of erythropoiesis or they favor the process of erythropoiesis from the common myeloid progenitor. Thrombopoietin stimulate the thrombopoiesis and GM-CSF colony stimulating factors stimulate granulopoiesis and result into the development of neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil and monocytes. On the other hand, hematopoietic stem cell convert into the common lymphoid progenitor. This is responsible for the lymphopoiesis and development of various lymphocyte, B lymphocyte, T lymphocytes and natural killer cell. Now we will see the various sites of hematopoiesis. Sites of hematopoiesis. In embryo till 3rd week, hematopoiesis takes place in yolk sac. Up to 3rd month, liver is the main site of hematopoiesis. In fetal life, at 4 months, bone marrow start hematopoiesis or hematopoiesis start in the bone marrow. At birth, entire hematopoiesis shifts to bone marrow. In childhood, all the bone marrow of all bones is the site of hematopoiesis, and in adult 18 years and more, the hematopoiesis restricted to certain bones like vertebrae, ribs, sternum, skull, pelvis, proximal epiphyseal regions of humerus and femur. So these are the sites of hematopoiesis according to the age. As we have discussed, the hematopoiesis is the synthesis, is production, development and maturation of the blood cell. So now we will deeply discuss about what is blood. Blood is a loose connective tissue. It's a body fluid circulating inside the circulatory system, cardiovascular system. Blood transport nutrient, gases and various metabolite and excretory products. So what are the components of blood? Blood is composed of primarily two components, cells or corpuscles or plasma. Plasma contain coagulation factor and serum. In the cells, we have three types of cells in blood: white blood cells, red blood cells and platelets. In white blood cells, vaguely or divided into the granulocytes cells, those contain granule in the cytoplasm, or agranulocyte, there are no granule in the cytoplasm. In granulocyte we have neutrophil, eosinophil and basophil. In agranulocyte we have lymphocyte, which is further divided into small and large lymphocyte, and monocytes. So this is a basic about the blood and its component. What are the functions of blood? So it acts as a transportation medium for the gases like O2 and CO2, provide nutrient to cells and remove toxic metabolite from cells to kidney. Provide defense against infection, foreign body and tumors via the white blood cells. Helps in healing and repair. It regulates the body temperature and takes part in blood clotting or clot formation. So these are the functions of blood: transportation of gases, provide nutrient and remove toxic metabolite from cells to kidney, defense against infection, foreign body and tumors, healing and repair, regulate body temperature and blood clotting. Now we will discuss about the various blood cells, their basic features and their function. First is RBC, red blood cell, also known as erythrocytes. Size of erythrocyte is 6 to 8 micron in diameter. Lifespan is 90 to 120 days. When RBC increase, the condition known as polycythemia. When RBC decrease, the condition known as anemia. We will discuss RBC separately in a different lecture. Then we have neutrophil. Size of neutrophil is 12 to 15 micron. Lifespan is few hours in blood and may some days in tissues. When neutrophil increase, the condition known as neutrophilia, which is seen in bacterial infection, inflammation, burns, leukemia, stress, trauma. And on the other hand, decreased neutrophil count is known as neutropenia, which is seen in viral infection, chemo and radiotherapy, immunosuppression and bone marrow diseases. Normal neutrophil percentage is 40 to 70% of total WBC. In adult, neutrophils contain multiple lobes in nucleus. As we can see, there are 4 lobes of nucleus and the granules are azurophilic. They take both the dye, acidic and basic. That's why known as neutrophils. Now the second cell we have is eosinophil, constitute 2 to 6% of total leukocyte count. As the name suggests, eosinophil granules are eosinophilic, brick red in color. Size of this cells is 12 to 16 micron. Lifespan is 4 to 8 hours in blood and 8 to 12 days in tissues. Eosinophilia is the condition for increased eosinophil count, and eosinopenia is the condition associated with decreased eosinophil count. Eosinophilia seen in allergic reaction, parasitic infection, certain autoimmune diseases, drug reaction and leukemias. Eosinopenia seen in stress, bone marrow suppression and steroid use. The next cell we discuss is basophil. As the name suggests, basophil. In basophil we have basophilic granule that obscure the nucleus, and then normally their percentage is 0 to 1 of total leukocyte count. The size is 12 to 15 micron. Lifespan few days in circulation. Basophilia seen in CML, tuberculosis and hypothyroidism, and decreased basophil count is known as basopenia, which is seen in bone marrow suppression, steroid use, stress, acute inflammation and hyperthyroidism. In hypothyroidism we see increased basophil, and in hyperthyroidism there will be decrease in the basophil count. Monocyte is the largest blood cell Size is 15 to 20 micron. It contains a kidney shaped nucleus with ground glass bluish cytoplasm, constitute for 2 to 10% of the total leukocyte count. The monocyte is also known as macrophages in the tissue. Normal lifespan is 24 hours in blood and months to years in tissue, where it known as tissue macrophages. Monocytosis is the condition where monocyte increase, and this is seen in chronic inflammation, inflammatory bowel disease, autoimmune diseases, and certain leukemias of monocyte. Bone marrow suppression of any region may result into the monocytopenia or decrease in monocyte count, as bone marrow suppression may result into the decrease in the all type of blood cell, because bone marrow is the primary site for the synthesis of blood cells, particularly in adults. Now we will discuss about the various lymphocytes. First is V lymphocyte. The size is 8 to 10 micron. As we can see, the nucleus, the cell is covered by the nucleus, and there is only a crescentic cytoplasm present. Lifespan is weeks to months, and memory cell which can live up to years. Increase count of lymphocyte known as lymphocytosis, which is seen in chronic lymphocytic leukemia, multiple myeloma, various infection and autoimmune diseases. Lymphocytopenia seen in condition of immune deficiency disorder and bone marrow suppression. T lymphocytes, T stand for thymus and V stand for the bone marrow. So T lymphocytes size is same as the V lymphocyte, 8 to 10 micron, and lifespan is also same. T lymphocyte increase in the viral infection, acute lymphocytic leukemia, tuberculosis. We will discuss in immunity that there are so many types of T lymphocyte, like T1, T helper, cytotoxic T cells, memory T cells. We will discuss in detail in the immunity. Now the NK cells, natural killer cell. They are large granular lymphocytes. Size is 10 to 15 micron. Lifespan is up to 2 weeks. They particularly increase in viral infection, autoimmune diseases, pregnancy, and chronic lymphoproliferative disorders. They decrease in the bone marrow suppression, COVID-19 infection, SLE, and rheumatoid arthritis. Now the last is platelets or thrombocytes. They are the cytoplasmic particles of megakaryocyte responsible for the blood clotting. Size is 2 to 4 micron. Whenever the size is more than 4 micron, they are known as large platelets. Lifespan is 7 to 10 days. Condition of increased platelet is known as thrombocytosis. And decreased platelet condition is known as thrombocytopenia. So thrombocytosis is seen in iron deficiency anemia, infections, chronic myeloid leukemia, and decreased platelet count is seen in bone marrow suppression, ITP, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, DIC, malaria, dengue, sepsis. So this is a brief about the various blood cells. Now we will see the various functions of the blood cells. As we have already discussed in the function of blood, now we will see all these function cell wise. So RBC or erythrocyte responsible for the transport of the gases, oxygen or CO2 with the help of hemoglobin. WBC also known as leukocyte, white blood cells. They provide immune defense, as neutrophil provide bacterial and fungal immune defense and also have role in acute inflammation. Eosinophil provide immunity against parasitic infection and allergy. Basophils have role in inflammation and allergy, particularly they secrete histamine and nephrin. Monocytes or macrophages in tissues, they act as antigen presenting cells and have significant role in phagocytosis. Lymphocytes, B lymphocytes act as a further develop into plasma cell and increase or may responsible for the production of immunoglobulin or antibodies and provide humoral immunity. T lymphocytes, as T cells have various role in our immune system. They may provide cytotoxic immunity or humoral immunity. Sorry, it's not human, it's humoral. NK cells or natural killer cells, as the name suggests, they attack abnormal and foreign cells, known specifically platelet or thrombocytes. They play an important role in blood clotting.